In 2020, I was diagnosed by different independent doctors with immature menopause at the age of 32, and I was told that I will, never have kids. And I was like, oh, can I freeze my eggs? And there's like, no, but you don't have any. And literally that was such a breaking point in my life. I felt how everything kind of like collapsed around me when I heard that diagnosis, and this kind of like, I never expected it. And so I was asking, like, is there anything I can do? I can eat something or drink something, or I don't know, exercise more or less. And they were like, no, there is nothing you can do, because there is not real like explanation for the immature menopause. It can be related to stress or radiation, or like very random things that it's hard to pinpoint, and it's not in my family. So it was all very weird. And then my boyfriend actually got me the book You Are Placebo. He didn't know anything about Dr. Joe Dispenza. I don't know, he just thought maybe it's a good book. And I read it, and I started to get really inspired, because there were some stories similar to what I was experiencing at that time in the book. And I was super inspired to read it. I was reading, and then I realized that there are these meditations at the end of the book. There were 2 meditations. So one, that you can focus on changing one thing that you want to change about your life, or 2. So I was like, okay, there's one I could try. So I recorded my voice to my phone, reading out that meditation. It's like, I think I did it maybe a little bit too fast. It was 30 minutes, maybe it should be more like 40. And I just started doing that meditation every single day. First thing in the morning. And I remember that for the first month of doing it, I literally would start crying every time during that meditation, but not because I was sad. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna have kids and so on, but because I felt such joy during the meditation. And I understood that, it doesn't matter if I have that baby or not. I feel such a joy, and I learned that, okay, I have such a tool within me, in my heart, that I can use, nothing, I'm not afraid of anything. I can use this tool. And I was doing that meditation, doing, feeling really happy and whole during it. And then 2 months later, I went again to do my tests, so to do the scans for the ovaries and all that, and then hormone tests. And the doctor was like, oh, so your hormones are almost back to normal. And it's like, your ovaries are... like there is action in there again. Oh, and I forgot to say that when I started doing the meditation, I was like, so what I'm gonna meditate about? And I meditated into my ovaries. So I looked them up on Google, how ovaries look like. And I was literally meditating into the ovaries and imagining how like they are like bubbling, and there are eggs in there, and there's like life's happening. There's action. And then she said, Evelina, I don't know what happened. Like, your ovaries look fine. You have eggs. It's like, what happened? And the doctor was like, can you take my email? Keep on, emailing me how this is going, because then I was moving to another country at that time. And then 4 months later, I got sick. It was COVID times, by the way. And I was like, oh no. So... oh, actually, no, how it was, it's my period. So 2 months after doing meditation, my period started, which I didn't have for 10 months. And I was like, wow, this is great, And then a couple more months later, my period didn't start. And I was like, oh no, so this menopause has, started again. And then I thought, oh, maybe I got COVID. So I was like in bed, a bit sick. And then I don't know why, but I did a pregnancy test. I had one, some like old one, and it was positive. And I was like, no, it cannot be true. So then I went to the pharmacy, bought like 10 pregnancy tests, did like all of them. And I was like, even telling to my boyfriend, can you really see like this is really positive, or am I like going crazy? And it was positive, but I couldn't believe it, because I was so convinced by those different doctors that it's not gonna happen. So I was like, oh no, but how can this be true? So then I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna believe it when I have the scan. And it was still so early. I had to wait, I think, 5 more weeks to be able to do the scan. So I was like, oh, so I'm pregnant, I'm not pregnant. I wasn't sure. And then I went for a scan. that first ultrasound, and the doctor's like, "Oh, so there are two babies." And I was like, "No, this cannot be true." So I was so shocked that somehow managed to meditate two babies, and yeah, this is how it started. Now my twins are 3.5 years old, and call them my miracle babies.